All right, everybody, it's Friday, and we got this from Derek Lunsford on his Instagram stories.
A lot of people that's running fast nowhere. Trust and believe that God.
Is Derek Lunsford doing Pittsburgh Pro?
So, Derek's thinking about it. Certainly has not made any kind of announcement yet. Now, the question is not, would he win the Pittsburgh Pro? I think it's almost a foregone conclusion. Derek is the reigning Arnold Classic champion. He's beaten everybody on the circuit competing right now, aside from Hadi Choopan. He beat Hadi. He's beaten Hadi before. But what I'm saying is, nobody doing the Pittsburgh Pro is a major threat to beating Derek Lunsford. If Derek just shows up looking the way he did just a few weeks ago, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks ago at the Arnold Classic, there's nobody beating him. We got, obviously, Nick Walker is going to be trying to be the champ of that show, trying to come in at his very best ever. Martin Fitzwater is going to be looking fantastic. I guess Good Vito is going to be there. Krizo is looking incredible right now. However, I don't see any of those guys beating Derek at his best. Derek is just, he's untouchable in that lineup. But the question I'm asking is, should he do the Pittsburgh Pro? And I put it that way because he wants that Olympia title back. There's no doubt. He wants to be Mr. Olympia again. He got to know what it was like to feel the rush of being Mr. Olympia in 2023. He held the title for a year and then got defeated by Samson Dauda last October. And he wants that title back. And right now he's looking very much capable of getting his title back at the Olympia this October. However, think about this. Hadi Choopan is going to be completely fresh and rested. Hadi will have had an entire year to do nothing but prepare for the Mr. Olympia. Took his off season. He's still in an off season mode. Won't have to start his prep till, I don't know, July or August. Meanwhile, Derek had to turn around pretty quickly after that last Olympia to go right back into prep to win this Arnold Classic. Now, he could easily take a few weeks off, have what they call the health phase, let his body rest, recharge, recuperate, clean out, do all that good stuff. And then he would have to have a brief off season before he could get back into prep for the Mr. Olympia. He would have a few months for sure. However, if he goes and commits to this Pittsburgh Pro, which is, I think we're looking at 7 weeks out from right now, he would have to pretty much stay on prep, which means he couldn't have let anything relax too much diet-wise after the Arnold Classic. I don't think he got out of shape in the least anyway, but he would have to jump right back into prep. Now it's $100,000, which is nothing to sneeze at. $100,000, it's a nice chunk of change for bodybuilders. We don't have the huge paydays like some of these other sports do. But think about the Mr. Olympia with $650,000 at stake this October. Not only that, but there's a good chance they might add another, let's say, $100,000 to that. I mean, I would not be surprised if they bump it up to at least $750,000 this year. I don't see Jake Woods keeping the money the same. I think they want to make sure they're well ahead of the Arnold Classic, which they already are. The Arnold's at $500,000 now. They're at $650,000, but I would be very surprised if Jake Wood did not up the ante to a full $750,000 of an first prize, $750,000 for this year, and then maybe next year it goes up to an even $1 million. Would not surprise me at all. But like I said, he needs to be rested. He needs to be fresh for that. He can't just jump right into another prep right after winning another show and then expect his body to hold up perfectly. People burn out. There's not many guys in this sport who have ever been able to peak several times a year perfectly. A lot of people believe that Hadi Choopan kind of shot himself in the foot last year when he did the Arnold Classic and Arnold Classic UK, and then was a little bit off his very best at the Olympia, which allowed which allowed Samson to get past him and Derek to get past him. I'm sorry, not Derek. Samson got past him. Hadi was a very close second, but many feel that if Hadi had simply taken a full year off and just focused on the Olympia as he had done before, then he would have won the show. That's what you guys have to say. Derek does Pittsburgh and wins. He's shattering a lot of dreams of individuals, trying to make the Olympia, would force other guys to do more shows to make Olympia. Also, he just opened a gym, and he can use the prize money to pay off the equipment and facilities of the gym. Well, I don't think he's worried about the prize, paying off the prize money. I'm sure Jocko Fuel is paying him well. He just got $500,000 for your own. But I see your point. It's another $100,000. But yeah, he'd be shattering the dreams. I mean, Nick Walker is really planning on winning that show and getting his Olympia qualification there. Martin has already qualified because of the Prague show that he won after the Olympia last year. He's already qualified. Good Vito needs to qualify. He's been second place at a couple shows, Pittsburgh last year. And wasn't he second at the Arnold Classic, Teutonia, as well? Oh, no, that was Rafael Brandel. My bad. You guys always catch me when I screw up, which is fine. So you want to miss his peak at the Olympia. Yeah, that's my concern. I mean, there's a poll here, guys, in the chat. Please cast a vote. I'm curious as to what you guys think. I personally think it's a very, very risky move for him to do all these shows in 1 year and expect to be his very best. So if he looked fantastic at this Arnold Classic, fantastic. To me, this was probably the best I've ever seen him. Let's go back to how he looked in 2023 when he won the Olympia. This was another great look for Derek. Of course, he won the Olympia that year. So how many times can a bodybuilder peak in 1 year? I'm sure it's an individual thing, and some guys have shown. Dexter Jackson is one who was able to do it multiple times a year. Ronnie Coleman was a Mr. Olympia champion who was not able to peak twice in 1 year. We saw he almost lost the Olympia way back in 2001 to Jay Cutler, and many feel he should have lost it that year because he did the Arnold Classic earlier in the year, won that, and then his body was just not responding later on, a few months later when he was trying to get into his best condition for the Mr. Olympia. And the first day of the show, it was a 2-day show, Jay was actually ahead in the judging. And, many people still feel, even though Ronnie did sharpen up, Chad gave him some sort of diuretic preparation after the first day. Many people still feel that the rightful winner of that show was Jay Cutler. So those were the days when the reigning Mr. Olympia was given a little slack, a little leeway. Those days are gone. These days, the very best man wins. It doesn't matter if he's the reigning Mr. Olympia or if he was second last year, third, fourth. Doesn't matter. You have to be on your game. Derek Lunsford slipped all the way from champion to third place, which is not a massive drop, but typically we do think of the Mr. Olympia champion, the reigning champ, as the favorite, the heavy favorite going in, and he usually is. All right, what else? Where's all this coming from? Did he say he's doing? So he just made a post. I'll play it again. This was the post that he made on his Instagram, where that he's contemplating it.
A lot of people that's running fast nowhere. Trust and believe that God.
Is Derek Lunsford doing Pittsburgh Pro?
He didn't say yes. He didn't say no, but he said, which leads us all to believe he's contemplating. He's putting it into consideration. And again, there are some solid reasons to do the show. There's $100,000 first prize. That's 100,000 reasons to do it right there. It's not a small amount of money in pro bodybuilding. The only shows that have bigger payouts right now are the Olympia and the Arnold. I think Dubai Pro is going to have $100,000 too, right? It's also the first time Pittsburgh Pro show has ever had men's open bodybuilding. It's had many other divisions in the past. It's always had men's physique. In more recent years, it's had classic physique, the women's divisions, but it's never had men's open. So it would be and this year it's a whole expo. It's not just a show. They're adding a full expo to the event. It's going to be a big deal. Pittsburgh, as you probably know, Jim Mannion is a promoter. Jim Mannion is the man who founded the NPC back in 1982. He is the president of the IFBB Pro League. He is the president of the NPC. So, it's a huge deal for bodybuilders to pay tribute, to pay respect to Jim to do this show. So it's very compelling reasons. However, Is it a risky move? I want your input, guys. Is it taking a chance that he won't be his best in October at the Olympia because he just peaked spectacularly? Spectacularly. He looked fantastic at this Arnold Classic. So I don't know. You tell me, guys. Let's go again to the posing routine from the Arnold while I go to your comments. Competition with the Arnold prize money when the Arnold only holds 5 divisions. Yeah, I mean, it's an ego thing. You know, Arnold has an ego. The Olympia has a huge reputation and a prestigious reputation as, you know, that's our Super Bowl. That's our top title. Regardless if the Arnold ever matches the money or even exceeds the money of the Olympia, the Mr. Olympia title is still going to be the top title. It's still going to be the title that every pro bodybuilder aspires to hold. There have been a lot of Arnold Classic champs who never won the Mr. Olympia. So that tells you it's a higher level of competition. We do have some awesome lineups at the Arnold, but again, the Arnold is invite only. Nobody actually earned their way there through winning anything. I mean, they did. I mean, the Arnold doesn't invite just anybody to their show. But the Olympia, you have to earn your way to that stage. And it's still the title that was held by Ronnie Coleman, Lee Haney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco, Jay Cutler, Frank Zane. So many legendary names in the sport. Keep putting out content. Thank you. Thanks for watching, Tony. Appreciate it. Yeah, I actually was going to do a power hour with Giles. He's having some issues with his Wi-Fi out there in the countryside that I hope are getting resolved very, very soon, because I enjoy doing these with you guys live and interacting with you. But I mean, Giles is my bud, and I love having someone to bounce ideas and things off. Talia, he said, Derek would be repeating Hottie's competing streak of 2024 to compete Pittsburgh, ultimately hampering his chances on the big stage. I'm not 100% saying that he couldn't peak twice in a year or 3 times in a year. This would be 3 times in a year. It's not impossible, but it's upping the ante. It's going to make it a lot more challenging and a lot more difficult. He has an amazing coach in his corner in Chris Aceto, just like he had a great, great coach in Hani Rambad previous to that. But you know, these guys aren't miracle workers. Chris Aceto will do his very best, and Derek, his work ethic is undeniable. He'll work his butt off. He'll do whatever he needs to do. If he decides to do the Pittsburgh, he'll still train his butt and diet his butt off to be his best at the Olympia. And let's hear from the Clayhars. Now, Team Clayhar, I don't know if this is Patty or if this is Phil Clayhar, the Jamaican tank. Could be Patty. Good point. Do you think he wants to make sure he and Chris have the peak right? Someone opposing clinic looks like he's competing based on his level of condition. I don't know. I mean, I think they got the peak right, considering it was their first prep together, Derek and Chris Aceto, for the Arnold Classic. It's very rare that a coach is able to get the peak 100% right the first time they work with an athlete, because there's so many variables involved. I'm just going to leave him up posing for a while there while we're talking. Dark Lunsford, let's leave that on loop so you don't have to look at my face while we're talking. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is very, very rare that a coach gets it right the first time, because they don't know exactly how this guy responds to carbs, fats, the dietary, the macros, different PEDs that are used. I mean, there's very often times diuretics used at the end. It's kind of a gamble, a crapshoot. Derek knows his body pretty well. I'm sure he was able to give very good feedback to Chris, and Chris is one of the very best prep coaches who's ever done it. So his abilities are, not in question at all. It's just a matter of, I don't know if this is too many times to peak in one year, but if you just saw him and he's still very, very lean, that would lead me to believe that either he is doing Pittsburgh or he's staying very lean just in case he does decide to do Pittsburgh. Let's see. Kalyan again says, Ryan just pulled a gamble in 2001 despite trailing points. Fortune is a favor every single time. Well, the whole thing is, that was the old days when Mr. Olympia, the reigning Mr. Olympia, was given some leeway. He didn't have to be 100% to hold his title. I saw Lee Haney a couple times. 89 and 90 was off, and he still won. You could argue he was still the best man on stage that day. Other shows, a lot of people were very sure. A lot of people didn't think Ronnie was at his best in 2001. They thought Jay should have had him. 2007, when Jay Cutler beat Victor Martinez, Jay was a little bit off. A lot of people felt Victor Martinez was robbed of the win that year. It's happened. But these days, if Mr. Olympia is not at his best, he does not retain his title. For the fans, I hope he does. For the fans, we love to see every great champion on stage at the same time, if possible. We're greedy like that. I'm greedy like that. Would I love to see Derek up there with Nick, Martin, Vito, Krizo, and whoever else decides to jump into this Pittsburgh Pro? Because it is going to be a very, very big deal. It's $100,000. It's the first time this Pittsburgh event has had open men bodybuilding. They're having a big expo. It's going to be a very, very big, very exciting show. I'm kind of bummed because I won't be able to follow it well that day. My son is competing in the NPC Natural Massachusetts show. So I'll be busy with my son, but I'll be following along on social media all day. Train to Gain says, yeah, but the Olympia holds all divisions. Oh, yeah. I don't think the Arnold will ever supersede the Olympia because you're exactly right, Train to Gain. The Arnold has cut several divisions. They cut 212 bodybuilding long ago. They cut women's figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding. I wouldn't be surprised if they cut men's physique for next year. So yeah, they have the luxury of not holding all the categories like the Olympia does. The Olympia has to have every category. Not only that, they have to allow every qualified athlete, and everybody that wins a pro show this year in their respective division is going to be qualified, which is why you end up with between 300 and 350 athletes at the Olympia, whereas the Arnold, it's invitation only. They limit each category, which is already limited because they got rid of a few categories. They keep the categories, the divisions small, 15 athletes in it per division. In the Olympia, we see 60, 70 athletes in divisions like classic physique, men's physique, bikini. We're going to see that this year again. There's no doubt because there are so many shows held throughout the year. Men's Open will never have the problem of having 60, 70 guys because there aren't 60 or 70 Men's Open shows. So, yeah, the Arnold is at a major advantage in that aspect. They have far fewer athletes to take care of, to judge. The Olympia, it's our Super Bowl. It's for every division to have their chance to win an Olympia title. Every qualified athlete, and it's everyone's dream to be the Olympia champion. Milos did 13 shows in 1 year. Yeah, Tom Anderson. Milos is a good example of somebody, this was obviously, we're going back 20 to 30 years when Milos was competing. Actually, I think he's been retired more than 20 years. But Milos did many, many shows a year. I remember seeing guys like Vince Taylor doing many shows a year in the 90s. There were a few guys who were able to. Cormier used to do multiple shows in a year. I just don't think it's something everyone can do. Can Derek do it? Maybe he can. Maybe he can. I'm not doubting his abilities. I'm not saying he's definitely screwing up. I'm just putting the question out there, and I want you guys to vote in the poll. What do you think? Do you think it's a risky move to do Pittsburgh if you're Derek Lunsford? And you're entitled to think it's a great idea, a terrible idea. That's up to you. Oh, it's Patty. What's up, Patty? Luckily, Patty is very, very well informed. Patty is not just a pro bodybuilder's wife, if there is such a thing. She's very, very well informed of everything, how the shows are judged. She has an eye for physiques. She knows a little bit about the politics that happen from time to time. So Patty has a very informed opinion. So I'm just as happy that Patty's here as if it were Phil. So let's go back. Did I hear that Sampson might do Pittsburgh? Have not heard that. Is he considering it? I think everybody would consider it. Hadi, probably not. The only reason Hadi has, major, I won't say trouble because he's been able to get to the U.S. past few years, but it's a whole process for Hadi to get a visa to get to the United States. Now, he is an employee of Evaju Nutrition, a United States-based supplement company. So he can get here on what I'm assuming is sort of a work visa type of deal. But to do it twice in a year, and I think Hadi is definitely in an off-season mode from all the videos I've been seeing lately. I don't see Hadi even considering Pittsburgh. But yeah, Sampson, it wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't have a heart attack if Sampson comes out and says he's doing it. Cressito has been hit and miss with athletes who's done a phenomenal job with the recent. Well, you know what? There's no one, people want to say this or that coach They no coach bats 1,000. I mean, Chris had Patrick Moore at the Arnold. Patrick looked awful. He said it was from all the diuretics that Chris had him on all week, which I don't know if that narrative is 100% accurate or not. I don't know, but that was Patrick's story. So he had the winner, but he also had the guy who was almost last place. I would have had him last place. I thought Justin Rodriguez should have beaten Patrick. Even Boss of Outlaw. Boss of Outlaw does great. I thought he brought Wesley Visserson a little bit flat. His legs, they've never been massive, but they looked even flatter to me than normal for this show. Even Boss of Outlaw, an amazing coach. No coach hits the nail on the head 10 times out of 10. But these guys are all very good at what they do. Good morning. Derek could be sure Pittsburgh may not be his competitor. Maybe he's a guest player. Yeah, that's a very, very likely possibility because Pittsburgh, for many, many years, they've always had an amateur show and a pro show. And again, they didn't have men's open, but the Pittsburgh guest posing was always a highlight of the year. I don't think they're going to bother doing that now that they have an open men's pro division added to it. But the Pittsburgh Pro show would have almost everybody in the Olympia top 10 show up to guest pose. And some of them would be in great condition if they had just competed or if they were preparing, if they were in prep. You'd also see some guys that were definitely in deep, dark off-season mode where they were carrying substantial body fat and sometimes they looked like they were off all gear and just looking flat and smooth. Drink the muscle. Salem, New Hampshire. What's up? Salem High. Oh, that was, I think it was in one of the New Hampshire state shows, maybe, or the Tournament of Champions was held there one time. Yeah, they were doing shows in Derry, and then I think one year they went to Salem. Not to be confused with Salem, Mass, where the witches were all, that whole thing. Huge Jay Cutler fan. Victor, my humble opinion. Yeah, I mean, if you ask people who were there, that was one of the few Mr. Olympias in that era that I missed. But I know people to this very day still talk about Victor Martinez should have won the 2007 Mr. Olympia. It's, we're talking almost 20 years ago now. It was 18 years ago, but people still talk about it. Patty, you just sort of reiterated what I just said. No guest posers. Yeah, I mean, who else would they have show up? I mean, I'm assuming everyone's going to be there anyway because it's Jim Mannion's show. All the top pros typically want to be there to show their respect to Jim. Now, guys like, so I assume we're going to see Samson. I assume maybe Hottie can get there to spectate. I don't know if he can or not. I mean, the visa situation is getting tougher and tougher these days, as you know. I mean, since 9/11, travel from other countries to the U.S. has steadily been getting more difficult, especially certain countries. And Hottie's from Iran. Maybe Rami will show up, but I agree, Patty. I don't think they'll have guest posers because they're going to have such a strong lineup, particularly if Derek does the show and you're going to have, Nick and Martin, Vito, Krizo. What would be the point? I don't think there's any point. Derek doesn't have to be 100 to beat these guys. 9% can win. Score 100 is enough. Isn't necessary. Still, I don't think Derek would intentionally. He's got his pride. Chris Aceto has his pride. I can't see Derek intentionally holding back and coming in at anything less than his best. I don't think he would do that. I mean, it would be sort of not a slap in the face, but it would just be a sign of taking it easy. Like he was so comfortable in his win. And I don't think that's not the way Derek moves. I don't see him doing that. Although I agree with you, he could probably come in at 90% and beat Nick, Martin, Vito, and Krizo. But remember, Martin almost beat him last year when he came in 24 Olympia. I think I have that. I think I still have the footage of that. That was, I'd say 85%. Condition was fine, yeah. His condition looked good here in 2024. This is last October. But, boy, was he flat. The legs, the upper body didn't look too bad. It was a little flattened out, but those legs were really flat, really flat. Yeah, I mean, his legs weren't gone. I know a lot of people, they love to throw things out there like, he had no legs. He had no legs. His legs weren't gone, but they were definitely downsized. The The fullness was just completely gone. The sweep was gone. If he showed up like this, and maybe that's the risk that he's taking. I don't think he's ever not. I don't think there's a chance he won't be in great condition, but I do think if he's in prep all this time, there is a risk that he could come in flat again like this. And could 100% Martin, who's bursting full, and Martin's put on some size. I did that video a few days ago about Martin had gained, it said 20 pounds in his update. Even if it's only 10 pounds that he's gained, that's a substantial increase in muscle mass. So if Derek came in looking like this, it's very, very likely an improved Martin Fitzwater could beat him. Happy to witness. Oh, thank you, my son. Yeah, my son's getting ready for his first show. Nick doing the show also. Oh, yeah, Nick is definitely doing Pittsburgh. He's confirmed. So the people we know for sure that are doing Pittsburgh are Nick Walker, Martin Fitzwater, Good Vito, Vitaly Ogolnikov, and Michael Krizanek, a.k.a. Krizo, Michael Krizo. And they're all fantastic athletes, but Derek is another level. I don't see them beating Derek. Any of these guys used to do all these shows here ever won Olympia during that year? No, they did not, Dragon Coos. Traditionally, the Mr. Olympia champion never did any other shows. If he did any other shows, it would only be the Grand Prix tours that would follow the Olympia. So it wasn't any additional prep. The Grand Prix shows often would start like the day after the Olympia. They would fly over to Europe and they would hit. Sometimes there would be a show Sunday, a show Saturday. They would stay in Europe and do another one. So they might be in Europe and do anywhere from 6 to 8 shows within a month after the Olympia. And, a lot of times the Mr. Olympia champ would pick up a few more wins that way. I don't know. Actually, Ronnie did it. He won a couple. Dorian won the British Grand Prix one year after the Olympia. Haney never did. Haney would stop right after the Olympia. They didn't all do it, but it's a chance. Yeah, it's always a chance. And that's when the prep isn't really, it's extended a few weeks. It's not months apart doing shows. This is spreading shows apart. So first weekend in March, second weekend in May, second weekend in October is what it would look like for Derek if he does all these shows. Really, most athletes will do New York Pro after Pittsburgh. Well, let's look at the time frame there. It's 1 week later. I believe everyone would do it except maybe whoever wins Pittsburgh Pro, but maybe even that person would do it. Why not? It's not a ton of extra money. It's, I think, 15 or 20. I think it's 20 grand for first prize. It's not a huge payday, but you're already in shape. I think it's 20 grand. Why not pick up? You're already in Pittsburgh. It's, if you stay there, if you don't go back to Europe or wherever you're flying from or somewhere else in the USA, stay in Pittsburgh a couple more days, then go to New York and hang out. It's like a 30-minute airline flight. You could even drive. It's not that far, but it's a quick flight. It would make sense for most of these guys, especially if they didn't win Pittsburgh and they still want to pick up an Olympia qualification. It would make a lot of sense for them to hang out and continue on. Yeah, I'm going to put him up from 2023 Olympia. Again, Boyarko competed close to 14 shows and up winning close to half of them. Yeah, that was a different era. But I mean, most of these guys watching don't even know who Boyarko was. Oh, because I'm not saying it would be it's impossible. Derek doing Pittsburgh Pro would be a dream come true for both Nick and Martin. It would be a nightmare. Well, it would be a dream. It would be a dream come true if they beat Derek. I don't see them beating them. Yeah. If they beat anybody who beats Derek Lunsford, their stock would rise. He's a great champion. And, you're only as good as the people you beat. So that's why we say the Mr. Olympia is the best show, because that's where the very best, all of the very best come out every year. The Arnold Classic has some of the best, but it's always missing a couple people. Like this year, it was missing Hadi. It had pretty much everyone. It was missing Martin. But the Olympia is missing nobody unless they got injured or something. Pittsburgh might ship the best battle of the year, Derek competing or not. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see. I mean, you got Krizo in your avatar there, and he is looking crazy right now. What a comeback, since I didn't think he wasn't going to come back from that shoulder surgery, but he's looking better than ever, I think. He's probably training pain-free. he probably had a lot of shoulder pain. I know he did last year, but his shoulder had probably been bothering him for a very long time. And now he's training pain-free. 80 Fiasco, 2007. Yeah. So who is the dark horse between Krizo and Good Vito? They're both great, man. They're both great. I want to go to that Krizo update because I'm just so impressed with Krizo. I've been a fan of his for a while, but that last picture they posted was just wow, crazy. Krizo. I'll find it for you guys. Don't worry. Yeah, here we go. Go to the banners. I gotta stop this. Okay, just want to show you Krizo. I'll leave him on the screen for a bit there. As good as he looks, and he looks amazing. I don't see him beating Derek at his best. You know, he's like I think he's going to be a solid top 5, top 6 guy this year at the Olympia for sure. Maybe higher, we'll see. But I don't see him getting past Derek. I do not see that happening. Bob Chico's coming back from Detroit. No. No, Kalyan, that's a good joke, but no, Bob's all done. Look at those legs. Yeah. One reason only, in my opinion, with Derek to do the show, just make sure Chris finalizes. I think you meant to say that they can make sure every aspect of the prep and the peak week is solidified and confirmed to work perfectly before they go into the Olympia. Yeah, I mean, that's a good theory. Lee Hayden competed the German. Okay, yeah. So he did do 1 Grand Prix show. Because 87, they were already in Sweden. They were in Gothenburg, Sweden for the show. So, again, short flight. It's probably like a 20, 40-minute flight from Sweden to Germany. It can't be that far. Can't take that long. Remember, Andrew needs to qualify. What if Andrew jumps in? No, I just heard he's doing a China Pro show. Yeah. Krizo wins for sure. Well, not for sure. It's not for sure. Krizo looks great though, man. I'm a fan of this guy. I really am. There's some cool training stuff there that he just put up too. Oh, there's another one. So this was 8.5 weeks out from. That was last week. That was 8.5 weeks out from Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's a big dude. I've stood next to him. He's a massive human being. Massive. I don't know what he's doing here. You just kind of look at, oh, you can do some curls. Those arms of his, shoulders and arms on Krizo are just ridiculous. You know, but he's got a very balanced physique. The back could be a little better. It's not, he doesn't look as great from the back as he does from the front. That's very, very common, but he looks damn good. He's certainly in the mix. You know, a lot of Nick Walker fans think Nick is got this show locked down. A lot of Martin Fitzwater fans will say he's got it locked down. But nobody's got anything locked down yet until we get on. We see them on stage. Nick's latest updates, pretty crazy. He's over 300 pounds still. Massive. There's his best shot, that front double. Yeah. Nope. I want to go back to that. Yeah. Let's go. Through social media, the pressure being put on Derek to enter Pittsburgh Pro. It's just guest pose. Yeah, I'm with you, RG. If I was Derek's advisor, and I'm not, obviously, I would say if you want your Olympia title back, which I know he does, your best bet is to, you know, I hope he took a good rest. The Arnold was only 3 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago today that they were judged. So hopefully he's had a little bit of rest, a little bit of downtime. And I would forego the Pittsburgh and just put all my eggs in one basket for the Olympia. Vito is dark horse, structure with the best in that stage, super freaky, can get peeled. Yeah, he just put up a back shot, I believe, that looked pretty crazy. Which leads me, I know Vito is doing Detroit, which he was runner-up. But I also keep hearing rumors. No, I heard he was doing Detroit, and I know he's probably doing Arnold Brazil. I think people have confirmed he's doing the Arnold South America in Brazil, which makes sense. He lives in Brazil. Why wouldn't he do that? Condition right here looks, geez, very, very. I'd be. Obviously, Detroit's coming up very quickly. Very quickly. It's a week from tomorrow. But then it's, he would have to hold on to the peak for Pittsburgh. That's the thing, guys, is they have to hold that peak for weeks and weeks. In some cases, it comes out to a total of months. He beats Vito for sure. Yeah, Vito is good, but he's not. Derek's still better. Sorry. Just think Krizo's coming back for surgery or looking like that. We're generic freak. Yeah, like I said, Mike, because I have a lot of experience with shoulder pain and injury myself. I need a replacement. I'm going to get a replacement later this year. But Krizo was probably training with a lot of pain for the last couple of years in that shoulder. And now he had the surgery, had the repair done. I don't know if it was a labrum or a rotator cuff repair. Whatever surgery he had, now he's training unhindered, pain-free. And that makes a huge difference. I mean, I have chest and shoulders to train in a couple hours, and I'm not looking forward to it because there's very little I can do that's not excruciating for my left shoulder. And I feel for these guys. But I guess, again, Krizo is now, he's past all that. He's still a young guy. I think he's only 31 or 32. So with that shoulder all fixed up and healed, he's looking awesome, and he will be a force to be reckoned with. I'm going to put him up again because that's such a great shot. Krizo. Yeah, I'm a fan of all these guys. What did I do with Krizo? There he is. Certainly, I think all these guys are fantastic. I mean, we're in a very good era right now with pro bodybuilding, I think. Doran competed in British Grand Prix shows in 92, 92, 94, 96, as well as German Grand Prix winning it. Yeah, I would think he would win them all. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because he had to fly home anyway, and the shows were right there in his backyard in UK or Great Britain, whatever you want to call it. Makes a lot of sense. Regan doing New York Pro, I don't know. The last I saw of Regan, he looked pretty much off-season to me. I don't know what Regan's doing. I kind of forget about Regan because he goes away for so long. My neighbor was actually a pro baseball player who has hip replacement is the best thing for the situation. Oh, yeah. I mean, hip replacement, I know a few people. I mean, one guy, Jose Raymond, he had his hip replaced. He's doing great now. His brother Tito had a hip replaced. He's doing fine. I mean, Tito's pound for pound, Jose's brother Tito is actually much stronger than him. He is a very, very strong man, Tito. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman has had both hips replaced. Yeah, if anyone's at the point where they need a joint replaced, like a hip or a shoulder, that means they're in pain all the time. And your hip, shoulder, you can kind of let your shoulder relax. You're not using your shoulder all the time, but you can't walk around without using your hips. I mean, you need them for locomotion, just to walk around. Can you imagine just every step you take every day is just agony? It must be awful. I'm knock on wood. I need my shoulders in a lot of pain, but thank God my hips don't give me any trouble. Brazil has become the new Middle East, becoming the epicenter for freaks. Oh, we've had so many great athletes coming out of Brazil. It's true Derek is doing pits. Well, what did he say? This is all he said. He has not confirmed anything yet.
A lot of people that's running fast nowhere. Trust and believe that God.
Is Derek Lunsford doing Pittsburgh Pro?
A lot of people that's running fast nowhere. Trust and believe that God.
Is he doing it? We don't know. Let's go to his Insta and see what kind of condition he's maintaining. If he looks to me like he's still in contest condition, that would be a huge hint. So let's see. All right, so here he's just showing the legs. This was posted yesterday. Oh no, I'm sorry, because this was posted yesterday, but it was one of the last legs day before Arnold, so this is not current. Is that Ramondino in the background? This was also an older shot, I think. This was before the Arnold, but look at that back. He has one of the greatest backs I've ever seen. It's right up there with Ronnie, Dorian, Lee Haney, Joel Stubbs, Franco Colombo. Some guys with amazing back development, but Derek's back is next level too, man. I remember, a few years ago, it was probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I was in Tampa for the Tampa Pro, and we did a little side trip, myself and our videographer, photographer, Hector Mendoza. Hector was working for Gasp. I think he still does work for Gasp. And we did a little side quest. We went over to this gym in Tampa and shot Derek. He shot some stuff with Derek for Gasp. And man, I was just in awe of his back because, like, wow. Especially when he's walking and you're behind him. It's crazy how wide his back is for a guy he's 5'5", maybe 5'5". Let's give him 5'6", but still crazy back development on this guy. That's not current. That was before your own. Yeah. So we're not seeing a lot of physique updates since the Arnold, which is to be expected. He put plenty of them up. See, there's the promo. This is the battle that's already shaping up for the Olympia. That's a pretty cool graphic. Yeah. 2 weeks. So this was, I don't think he's posted any videos or anything, but Patty saw him at an event, a posing clinic down there in Florida. And, according to Patty, still looks like he's pretty much in contest condition. I don't think Derek would ever get out of shape anyway. I'm sure he would stay pretty lean. It just makes sense not to bulk up. He doesn't really need any more size. So yeah, it's pure speculation. Is he gonna do it or not? We don't know, guys. We don't know. Lee Priest is undergoing hip replacement too. What did Chris say about Derek? I don't know if Chris. I don't think Chris Aceto would be the one to break any news. I'm sure he would let Derek be the one to announce that he was or was not competing in Pittsburgh. He might hint around at it or something. I don't watch all the RX podcasts. I don't watch too many podcasts, to be honest with you guys, because they're long format. They're like an hour to 3 hours, and I'm busy eating and I'm trying to create my own content. But there's a ton of great content out there. Big fan of Krizo. Those arms so huge, but I'm a fan of the Mass Monster. Yeah, I mean, Krizo, he's got really good shape too. It's not like he's got a gut or anything like that. Krizo. I wonder if Krizo's got any posing stuff on his page. When was the last time we saw him pose? When was the last time we saw Krizo compete? Last fall, right? Yeah, sometimes they have the Gilco footage. Yeah, just to remind you guys, Detroit Pro is having a free, 100% free live stream next Saturday on the Fuad Abiyad Media channel. It's also going to be hosted on Center Podium's website. So you'll have free access. And I'm going to be doing a live watch party. Hopefully I'll get Big Mike Cox. Might get Giles. It's tough with the time difference to jump on there too. Yeah. Krizo's pretty damn great. Yeah. So I think I'll wrap it up. So guys, there is a poll there if you're in the live, but if you're watching this on a replay, please feel free to drop your comments below. Should Derek Lunsford do the Pittsburgh Pro? Shouldn't he, and why? Krizo, Nick, Derek, they all bring some different stage, very unique favors. I mean, that'd be obviously Derek on stage would make the Pittsburgh show even better. It's going to be a great show regardless, with or without Derek Lunsford. With Derek Lunsford, it steps up a whole level because you have a Mr. Olympia champion. There's no other Mr. Olympias doing it. We had 3 Olympia champs on stage at the Arnold. We had Samson, the reigning champ. We had Derek, and we had Brandon Curry. We also had a 212 Olympia champ, Sean Clarita. This would put a Mr. Olympia champ on stage at the very first Men's Open Pro, Pittsburgh Men's Open Pro. So that'd be pretty awesome. After all, some become gossip section Italian mob guys from Bronxboro. I don't think they're all from the Bronx, but they all do have that accent. That New York, New Jersey accent. Yeah. Anyway, guys, so I'm gonna cut this. So please remember, next Saturday we're doing a live watch party for for Detroit Pro. Couple things I want to clarify because you guys were ripping me a new one yesterday in the comments, even still today. I mistakenly said during the live, I will not be doing a live for Pittsburgh. And the reason is because my son is competing. My son Christian is competing the Sunday before that at his first show, an OCB show. And then the same day as Pittsburgh, there is an NPC Natural Massachusetts show that he's also competing in. So I'm his coach. I'm his dad. I'm going to be there all day and all night. So I'll have to follow along on social media. But I am doing a live watch party for Detroit next Saturday. That is 100% free live stream, so I can do it. When it's a pay-per-view, I can't do it because I will get a copyright strike, rightfully so. It happened to me at the Olympia last year. Can't do it. Can't do live watch parties when it's a pay-per-view. But if it's free and you're linking to them and stuff, it's all good. Dragon says he can guarantee his Brazilian trainer would have spilled the beans already. That's how we do it. I didn't know he had a Brazilian trainer. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. We're starting to spoil his fans with great lineups. Live stream that. LOL. No, I'm not live streaming my son's show. It's not that important. Anyway, guys, I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to cut it out. So thank you all for watching. If you voted in the poll, I'm going to put up. Actually, let me see if I can go to YouTube and put the poll results. I'm going to close the poll out. I have to turn the volume off. That's where I screwed up last time. Let me see if I can view the poll results while we're still going. Turn the volume off. Okay, where's the poll? Okay, end poll. I'm going to end the poll. End poll. Where's the poll results? 61% of you thought he should do it. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen. So Connor Burton training, what's up? So let's see how you guys voted while we were live before I say goodbye. Okay, so the poll there is on the right. Should Derek compete in Pittsburgh? Yes, 60%. No, 39%. 38 of you voted. Thank you for doing that, guys. Appreciate it very much. So most of you, a majority of you thought yes. All right, man. Love you guys. Appreciate you watching. All right, guys. So might or might not do another video over the weekend. We'll see, but please keep your notifications on, and we'll see. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll show you what he looks like. What the heck? I'll show you what my son looks like. He's not a mass monster by any means, but I'm very proud of my son, as you might imagine. I love my boy. He's 25 years old, does not look it. But let's go. I'm prepping him. He is 6 weeks out. 6 weeks out tomorrow from his first show ever. Let me see if I can share. Okay, so I'll share the screen. What the heck? So that's my son, Christian. He's got ulcerative colitis, just like Carlos Thomas Jr. His body doesn't really absorb food properly. He's a hard gainer. He does not have my exact genetics at all. He has some things that I have, like the quads and the pecs. He's got a smaller waist than I ever had. His waist is already, when he sucks it in around the navel, it's 27.5 inches. He's 5'7". He's currently 135 pounds. So not a big kid, but I'm getting him shredded for the show. I'm getting him shredded because if you're not big, you better be shredded. So, yeah, that's it, guys. That's my boy. Very proud of him and love him to death. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it so much. And I will see you right here next time. Peace.